Hiya there folks, welcome to Boating on a Budget with me, the tight Yorkshireman.
And me, Dawn.
Well done. I think we can safely say this is probably a vlog that we wanted to never have to make.
Yes.
And will probably be slightly different, in fact very different to our normal sort of vlogs.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because in essence, and obviously as we'll show you as the vlog goes on, something went wrong that could have gone really
Drastically wrong. Yeah.
Fortunately, we didn't go too wrong, but it could have been a complete disaster. And hence to say this vlog wasn't intended, so some of the footage that you'll see was recorded basically ad hoc by yourself,
yeah,
just on the fly, so there were no microphones set up, no proper cameras set up, so a little bit of the sound quality.
And this dunderhead behind the phone. Don't go any worse, really.
But like I said, we weren't planning on filming it, it just happened and you managed to grab your camera while it was going on.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of background though, just to show we've perhaps not been having the best of luck at the minute. I must say nothing major, but if we just sort of run through, obviously I'm sure most people who are familiar with us know that we've kind of quit our jobs to do a 4.5 month trip around the country on our boat, getting it back to our mooring, the boat that we bought end of last year. Brilliant, who could wish for more than that? And at the start of that trip, it happened to be your birthday. We'll not tell you how old she is, but it begins with a 5 and ends in a 0. But
looking good though. I'm looking good.
Yes. But so we decided to go on holiday for your birthday. We decided to go to Tunisia, which we'd like to say we studied lots and decided where we were going. But in effect, it was just the cheapest holiday available at the
time. A week away, relaxed.
But the essence to it was, as we were preparing to go on holiday, we decided that would be the ideal time to get our camper van serviced and sorted.
Yes.
So we booked the camper van in at a specialist for the T4 camper vans place up in Castleford, bearing in mind we're in Rotherham normally. We booked that in for the day before we went on holiday.
Yes.
Equally, the day before we went on holiday, our car broke down.
Yes.
So what we had to do was drive the camper van to Castleford and get a lift back to Rotherham. And then instead of then jumping in the car and driving to the airport on the day, what we then had to do was get a bus that was a rail replacement bus and a train over to our boat that was in Nantwich.
That's where our luggage and passport was.
Yes. So we had to come here the day before the holiday. And then on the day of the holiday, we had to then get 2 trains from Nantwich to Manchester Airport.
Yes.
So again, not the worst thing in the world, just a bit of a hiccup along the way. While we were then away on holiday, we got the message to say the camper van works were going to take longer than anticipated, as they generally do. So the camper van wouldn't be ready for us as we got back from holiday, which the plan was back from holiday, use the camper van, then come down to the boat. So we then had to sort out last minute plans of getting from the airport at like 1 o'clock in the morning back to the boat.
Not even like public transport were working, were it?
Excuse me. The good thing was though, that then meant instead of going back to the camper van and then coming down to the boat a few days later, we could crack straight on with our adventures. And this is where the story kind of gets a little bit tricky. So as we've said, the boat itself was moored in Nantwich.
Yeah.
So our rough plan of where we were going to go on the boat, the first leg of it was down the Llangollen Canal. Llangollen. How do you pronounce it? I'm not even going to try and pronounce that aqueduct that's further down. Not even going to go there.
You'll get yourself in trouble.
I will indeed. But yeah, so the first bit was going to be going down the Llangollen Canal, which is sort of the start of that's only a couple of miles from where we were in Nantwich. So following day, all prepared, gung-ho. What else could go wrong? Let's get on with our trip. So off we set, goes round up to the Llangollen. There you've got the Hurleston locks. It's a set of 4 locks that take you from, in effect, the Shropshire Union up onto the Llangollen Canal. So we gets there, turns the corner into the first lock. Perfect.
Lovely.
Everything's perfect. What more could we wish for? We're on our way. We're heading for Wales, so we're going to a different country as well. We're heading towards that big aqueduct. Ponticilla. No, I'm not even going there. But anyway, we go through the first lock, not a problem. Comes to the second lock, and that's where
disaster struck.
This happened.
Well, as luck goes, it looks like we're not going to be having any. So we've come through this lock, and Our boat's too wide. So now we're stuck. We've got traffic going both ways. And everything's now come to a stop. So we have to now see what CRT say on a way to get our boat that's stuck in this lock back out.
So that was a little bit of footage that Dawn managed to grab whilst I was having a panic.
Yeah. Sorry if it's not any good.
No, I think actually I was on the phone to CRT at that moment, phoning it through. What had happened was, as we'd gone into the second lock, the boat had sort of jammed. And initially I just kind of thought, well, I've maybe gone in at a bit of an angle, just need to sort of sort it out. But quite clearly, within a matter of a few seconds, it was quite clear the boat was jammed
big.
Firmly in the lock. Each side of it was in the lock mouth, and I must stress now, it wasn't the fenders.
No, absolutely not.
A lot of the locks around here are so narrow, you can't have your fenders down because they jam.
Yeah.
We didn't have the fenders down. There is an issue with the fenders that you'll see in a moment, but we didn't have the fenders down. It wasn't the fenders that were jammed,
absolutely
it was
not.
the boat itself. The boat itself, in effect, was looking too wide. At this point, like I said, we were in a bit of a panic. What do? The boat's stuck. The issue we got, oh, that wind's picking up.
I know.
The issue we got is, like I said, this is a flight of 4 locks, and obviously as each one of those is filled and emptied, that affects the levels in each pound of the other ones.
Yeah.
We got somebody following behind the lock behind us, and we got boats that we could see were preparing to come down the locks. So we were kind of
busy, weren't it?
Yeah, it was busy, but we were also concerned, as in, if they start filling and emptying locks, that's going to affect the water level in the pound where we were stuck. Yeah. And obviously at this stage we didn't know, did we need to put more water into the lock pound to raise the boat up and pop it out? Did we need to drop the water level to drop it out?
We'd never been in that situation before.
No, never. Or did we literally just physically need some brute force strength and ignorance to try and pull it out?
Pull it out.
So
yeah.
what we immediately did is I kind of ran down to the people in the lock behind us. You ran like an athlete, supreme athlete, to the people up at the top, and we just sort of said, right, could everyone just stop? Don't turn any paddles, don't let any water through or anything. Just stop. Let's have a little
rethink.
A little think about what to do. So obviously, while we're having a bit of a think, phone CRT. They said they would send somebody out as an emergency call out. Bearing in mind this was Good Friday, so bank holiday weekend here in England. So none of the CRT staff were actually working as such, they're only on call. So they were sending somebody out. What we had noticed as well is the boat was sat in the lock, and I'm not sure if you can see on the pictures really, it was sat at a slight angle. So the left hand side, should I call that the port side, seeing as we're on a boat?
I don't know it. The
left hand side of the boat was slightly lower than the right hand side. So it was kind of, what do we do? Do we go with that and try and rock the boat out? Or do we sit tight, wait for CRT? Do we try filling pans? Do we try emptying pans? Now we've got through that bridge, which was very narrow. Not used to these narrow bridges, used to the big wide ones. But yeah, so now we've got through that bridge, we'll carry on. In essence then, so the boat's wedged, it's at an angle. We decided to just try with a couple of us on the boat, just seeing if we're standing on that side where it was already at the slight angle, would just pop the boat out.
Yeah.
So initially one of the chaps who was on one of the other boats got on the boat with me, giving it full reverse throttle to obviously try and pull the boat out. Still wasn't having it, not going anywhere. And then there seemed to be an inspiration, because the chap who was helping me, I must say I never got his name, his wife brought him a cheeseburger. So he stepped off the boat to eat the cheeseburger, and just as he was taking his last mouthful of cheeseburger, he says, oh, shall we give it another try then? So I'm like, yeah, go on then, you know. And to be honest, I'm thinking, we've tried it, it's stuck, it's not happening, but you know, while we're waiting, we'll give it a go.
Oh, we're a positive, weren't it?
So last mouthful of cheeseburger in his mouth, with an helicopter going over us. He steps back on the boat, he gives it a rock or two.
It popped out.
And it popped. This is then where we then had an issue with the fenders. Because of all the movement and things, the fender, one of the fenders had not itself dropped into the, like over the side. but it moved enough that then the rope that holds it was then sort of snagging on the side of the lock wall. So I then had to get laid down on the roof of the boat with the handsaw and just cut through the rope.
And we're out.
But I really must stress, it wasn't the fender that was the issue. The fender did cause a little bit of a hiccup towards the end, but the fenders were nothing to do with it.
No.
And I only do stress that because, not that I'm trying to take any blame away from us, as we'll come to in a second, it really wasn't our fault anyway. But this is really a vlog and a story to say about how things can so easily go wrong, and kind of don't want people to just think, ah, well, if they didn't have the fenders down, they'd have been all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fenders.
No.
So yeah, we popped out and breathed a huge sigh of relief, a massive sigh of relief.
About an hour, weren't it?
Yeah, we were stuck in the lock for about an hour. Stuck in that lock now for about an hour, which equally obviously meant the other boats that were trying to go up and down on Good Friday, bank holiday weekend, were also stuck.
They were really understanding though, to be fair. They really were. They were good.
Once we'd actually got out and we then decided that we were obviously going to go a different way and things like that, we turned the boat around, went back through the original lock we come through, turned back round, back onto the Shropshire Union. I then went on to Facebook that evening and just asked the question, is it an issue that we're going to have with our boat? Because obviously, are we going to find our boat is too wide for some of the locks on the network? And as it turned out, it seems that lock is quite well known for the fact the entrance to the lock sort of seems to be like that, a bit sort of A-shaped. So, no, sorry, like that. No,
it is like that. Because we went in and they said if it lowered, we needed
to lower the pound, and we would have got in all right. And apparently when there's volunteer lock keepers on there, which there sometimes is, that's what they do normally anyway. They lower the pound so boats can go under. A lot of the boats just go in normally anyway. Seems our boat is amongst a few that are quite hippy, as in they've got quite wide hips. They're quite wide, high up. So our boat, along with others, because as it turned out over that bank holiday weekend, we know of at least 2 other boats that couldn't get through and ended up having to turn round as well. So it is obviously an issue with that lock mouth. It's not letting boats in unless you lower the pound. And I said these other 2, they even lowered the pound, but they still couldn't get in because they were then grounding out on the bottom of the pound before the water was low enough. But all in, I think it's safe to say, it was a pretty scary time. We didn't know what was happening, and what was also constantly flashing through my mind is, while we've been on holiday in Tunisia, a similar thing had happened at another lock somewhere else on the country. And that boat had sunk. In trying to free the boat, trying to get it away from the lock mouth, the boat had took on water and sunk. And that had only happened the week before and was quite well publicised, so that was really fresh in my mind.
And we're new to this, aren't we?
I mean, we've done a reasonable amount of boating, but certainly not on these sort of little canals, not with these little locks. And in fairness, it's probably the first time we've had anything like an issue. We've not really come across any problems before, so yeah, quite a scary time. Almost as scary as being on a really narrow bit of waterway and a boat coming the other way.
Oh goodness,
So bear with. Well, that were a bit narrower than we'd have liked.
Tight, isn't it?
It is a very narrow section. There's literally 2 boats can only just get past. So yeah, to sum up, I think basically what we're saying is things can go badly wrong very quickly
in a heartbeat
without you realising. So if you're boating, keep your wits about you is the essence. And I think from our point of view, we've got kind of a couple of bits of videos coming up. We've said about doing a boat tour, and we want to film a little like tour of our boat, show everyone what it's all about, this new boat that we've recently bought. What we're wanting to do is find a nice dry day when there's a nice dry towpath and things where we can sort everything out and get it filmed properly. And although the sun's kind of shimmering through the clouds at the minute, you can probably see by the towpaths,
it's awful.
It's not been very good weather of late. I think we're at the back end of Storm Catherine. I don't know. They call them names these days, don't they? But
Always women.
yeah, it's always women causing a kerfuffle. But yeah, so we're going to film that, but we do want to wait for a nice dry day and we can do a proper thing.
I like that.
There is some kind of
That is very, very nice.
some kind of tree there. But yeah, so there'll be the boat tour coming up, and we've also started doing a little bit of work both inside and outside for things we want to do, like moving the fireplace and things like that, moving the solar panels so we can move the chimney, etc. So we've started filming all that. We've got some of that ready to upload and make into vlogs. The thing is, because of, like we said earlier, with having camper vans and cars all over the place broken down in garages, I didn't have my laptop with me.
No.
So we've only been able to do filming over this last sort of 10 days or so since we came back from
No
holiday.
editing or like
Not been able to do any editing, so we can now crack on, get some of that footage edited and start getting these vlogs up to date for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we've come down the really narrow bit. We've now got 5 locks in front of us, the Turley locks. I've probably pronounced that wrong as well. We've got 5 locks
Look
in
at
front of
yourself
us.
short.
I know. So, all being well, the next video you'll see will either be a boat tour if the weather's been nice, or it'll be a video of us at least doing some work in the boat. Not just us rambling on about some disaster that we've had.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for watching then, folks, and we'll see you all soon. Bye bye.